Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is CypherBox, and I was just reading an article on Sky Sports. They did an interview with Wladimir Klitschko, former unified heavyweight champion of the world, and he was basically asked about Joshua versus Wilder and his thoughts, and this is what he had to say, and I quote, "It would be a dangerous fight for Joshua. I'm not saying he wouldn't win it, but Wilder has something. Due to his weight, he is extremely fast. He has good power in his hands and he's extremely fast. Maybe he's kind of wild in his technique, but those punches are coming from who knows where. He is hard to defend against. Where is that punch going to land? Or which side is it coming from? Joshua has all-round more capability, but Wilder is taller than Joshua and is faster than Joshua. He doesn't have the weight behind his punches, but he is extremely fast, and it would depend upon what kind of mood both fighters are in." Okay, so here's my thoughts on what Wladimir Klitschko just said. Do I agree with Klitschko? Yes, I do. I've said this before in previous videos that I believe that this will be AJ's toughest fight. Even tougher than Wladimir Klitschko, because Deontay Wilder is an awkward fighter. He's unorthodox in his style. He's not a conventional fighter. Yeah, he does the strangest things in the ring. Everyone criticizes him about the lack of fundamentals he has. Even Carl Froch a few weeks ago, I remember when I was watching one of his videos, his interviews, and he even turned around and said that it's going to be a tough fight for AJ because Wilder is awkward, and the awkward fighters tend to be the most difficult fights because you can't predict what they're going to do. Yeah, and Wladimir Klitschko just said it himself. Where's that punch coming from? Where's it going to land? You can't see it coming because he doesn't do it in the usual conventional ways. He does it in his own way, yeah, or an unorthodox way. And that makes it dangerous for Anthony Joshua. Don't get me wrong, I believe AJ, I think AJ will just edge the victory against Deontay Wilder. That's my opinion. But I still think it's going to be his toughest fight. He's going to have to dig deep in situations, against Wilder, in my opinion, and to pull off the win. But I believe he will do it. But Deontay Wilder, he can win this fight too. Remember, don't get me wrong, this fight could end in 30 seconds. Then they're heavyweights, for crying out loud. They carry a lot of power. Fights in the heavyweight divisions can end in the first round. One punch and that's it, it's all done. But I believe this fight will go long, and it will be hard. And you know what? AJ is going to have to dig deep and go, he'll get taken to the trenches. And I agree with Wladimir Klitschko. You can't predict what Wilder's going to do. I don't agree with the part. I think he was referring to Wilder when he said, he doesn't carry a lot of weight behind his punches. That I don't agree. I think he's destructive with his power. He destroys his opponents. When that right hand lands, it's all over. That's it. There's no recovery time. He doesn't give you a recovery time. Wladimir Klitschko, when he knocked down AJ, he allowed him to recover. Deontay Wilder won't give him that time. Deontay Wilder will smell the blood and go in for the kill. And that's what makes the fight even more dangerous. So I do agree with Wladimir Klitschko. I believe AJ can just edge the victory. But no way am I underestimating Deontay Wilder. Because Wilder, because of that unorthodox style of his, because of his power as well, and his ability to finish his opponents off, he goes in for the kill. It's the kind of fighter that he is. It's an extremely dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. And it was interesting to hear what Wladimir Klitschko had to say. He's a veteran, a seasoned veteran. We know that he's a legend in his own right. And to hear him say that, just lets you know that, what, I'm not the only one who thinks that this is going to be a tough fight for AJ. It is the best fight out there. We need to see this fight. They need to make the deal. I did a video the other day breaking down how the percentages would work, how this fight can be easily made. We need to stop all the blocking, the attempts of blocking. I know some of you are very patriotic, US fans with Wilder, UK fans with Anthony Joshua. But listen, put that aside. You should be demanding for this fight to be made. whichever way it can be made. It's that simple. Like I said, I did a video, I'll link it to this video, you know, explaining how the percentages would work, ranging from whatever sort of revenue that comes in, whether it be 20 million in terms of revenue the fight makes, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, right up to 100. And I showed that a percentage split keeps both sides happy, not a flat fee. So we just need to see this fight get made. But like I said, but it's going to be a great fight. It's the best fight out there at this moment in time. It's the hottest topic in boxing. There's potential. If it's promoted right, yeah, it can make a lot of money. But you have to promote it right. You have to promote it right. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You have to take, you know, examples for Floyd Mayweather and McGregor. Maybe do a world tour. You know, you have 2 press conferences over here in London and maybe Manchester. You do 2 in America, maybe in New York and LA, to hit both sides of the coast. You know, get people interested, get in each other's faces, really ramp it up. You know, let Deontay Wilder off the leash. Not that he's on a leash, because, you know, you can't control Wilder. He's got no filter. Let him get right up in Joshua's face. You know, build the fight. But it's not enough to just do the press conferences. You got to give back behind the scene footage in terms of the whole build up of their training camps and stuff like that. What's going on? Real insight to what's going on with these 2 fighters behind the scenes. You know, not only that, so you can't just do the, you know, one press conference in London announcing the fight and then say, all right guys, see you, you know, a week before the fight. You have to promote it better than that. You know, Eddie Hearn needs to drop his ego, maybe fly out to the US, speak to Steven Espinoza of Showtime and say, hey Steven, how do we make this into a $100 million fight? How do we make this fight big? What do we do on this side of the pond? What do we, you know, we're going to do this on that side. You know, we do, you know, the behind the gloves, the Gloves Are Off series here in the UK on Sky Sports, where the fighters face off at a table with Johnny Nelson. Do a US version of that. You know, there's loads of ways you can make this fight big. You know, people are saying, oh no, it's not going to be big, it's not going to be big. You're right, it might not be. We can't guarantee $100 million revenue for this fight. But my point is, you have to do certain things to try and push and make it that way. You can't just say we've got a pot over and that's it. You got to promote the fight. Eddie Hearn talks about how he's the best promoter in the world, and he talks about how, you know, boxing has changed and all these old promoters need to get, you know, with it because they're still promoting fights the old way. Well, I don't see anything different that he does. Yeah, except putting himself out there and screaming all over YouTube videos, etc. That's what I feel really is the little extra trick that he throws in. But if you want to make this fight big, then step out of your own comfort zone, yeah, and cross the pond and talk to the other side and say, how do we make this fight massive? You know, do we do a world tour? You know, do we do two versions of, you know, the Gloves Are Off, US and UK? You know, the US one will cater into the US fan base. You know, there's loads of things you can do. But like I said, this fight is a great fight. They need to make the fight, get the deal going. Then they need to talk about as a one unit and talk about how they're going to promote the fight on both sides of the pond to make it a big fight. And then let's see these boys go at it and let's see who becomes undisputed. But I agree with a lot of things that Wladimir Klitschko said in his interview to Sky Sports. At the same time, I disagree with one thing, because Wilder, he packs a punch. But let me know what you think. You know what? I don't want to hear insults and all other stuff. Actually, just give me an adult, intelligent answer. You know, how do you see the fight going? Have a conversation with me instead of trying to attack the people that are making YouTube channels. Actually leave a comment that's constructive. Yeah, that gives insight into what you're thinking. Everyone's got their opinion about this fight, and you're all entitled to it. We're all entitled to it. So leave a comment, but leave a comment that's actually, you know, something debatable. You know, that's all I'm going to say to you guys. You know, let me know how you think, what you guys are thinking. How do you see the fight playing out? As always, guys, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.